Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of my Out of the Park Baseball 22 series with the Pittsburgh Pirates. So here in episode 2, as you can see, we are jumping right into June 2nd in our 21-33, 10.5 back in our division in last place. So now, if you know how I usually run this series, we usually skip kind of to around where the first year player draft is, so at the beginning of June, and go from there and kind of evaluate the performance so far. This year I'm going to try to keep a more active approach going through the season, but I just don't really think there's really much reason to do so when the team's pretty bad and there are no players who are long-term options. So just kind of figured that it wasn't really that worth it. So here again, June 2nd, 2021. One thing that I forgot to do in the last episode was go ahead and look at our scout, who was very poor, but instead I went ahead and signed Chris Klein, who was the best scout available for us that we could sign. And then also Rick Jameson, our trainer, is bad, so I went ahead and signed a new trainer, and he is pretty good, very good at preventing arm and leg injuries, and very good at fatigue recovery, so hopefully he'll do pretty well at that. And now, if you know, the Rule 5 draft this year is actually pushed all the way back into July. It is July 11th, so there actually is no Rule 5 draft early enough, at least in this season. I'm not sure if the game will auto-correct it to June like it usually is, or if it's actually been moved to July for foreseeable future. So I'm not quite sure what the deal is with that, but at least for this season, we'll cover it in the next episode. And then in future, I'll do some research and kind of figure out what I'm going to do there, and I'll let you guys know. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the roster and kind of how the team performed this year. We're actually going to go ahead and look at the standings first here. So yeah, we're 5th place, pretty much the worst team in the league, besides Texas, who has a worse record than us. Seattle's right there at the basement with us, with 21 wins. We're the worst team in the National League. Actually been playing pretty well so far. Actually, not so far. Of recent, for some reason. We picked up a 5-game win streak and a 7-3 in the last 10, which is kind of interesting. Didn't really expect that. Been the best in our division in that time span. And as for our index here, looking at our expected win-loss so far, it's actually a bit better than we are right now. So kind of interesting there. Only 2 games, of course, not a very huge thing at all, or a big difference. So at least we've eclipsed the amount of wins we had last season, 2020 season, 19. So little win there, I suppose. But like I said, we're going to get into the roster here. So now there are a few differences from the opening day roster, with kind of guys who are not with the organization or are hurt. Here are the guys in the Major League Club who are injured right now. Blake Cedarland actually went down at the very beginning of the season. He's back now, as you can see, so we're going to go ahead and put him on a rehab assignment. And we have Dave Bednar, who is getting elbow ligament reconstruction surgery. He's out for 10 months, so he's done. And Tyler Anderson, who also recently got injured, strained forearm, out for 2 months. Not quite sure what a strained forearm equates to a 2-month injury, but that's what it is. And he actually was pretty decent-ish for us prior to that, so that was kind of a loss for our rotation. I was thinking about moving him to the deadline, but he will not be back in time. But anyways, going back to the lineup, players who were not injured and just were let go. We let go Todd Frazier just because I got the little message that he was unhappy because he's a bench player. He's a veteran player and thought he should be in the starting lineup. Obviously, not going to start him over Brian Hayes. And I needed some roster space for some waiver claims, which I'm about to get into. So I just decided to cut him. He was hitting 100 over I don't even know, 50 at bats or something like that. Nothing good, nothing. And I wasn't sad to see him go. But the hitter waiver claims that we did make here was I picked up Jake Bowers here, who's definitely one of the reasons for our surge recently. I mean, look at those numbers: 374, 69, and 778 slash line in the 9 games with us. Almost has had as many homers as he did with Cleveland so far this year. But he was on the waiver wire. Kind of liked his ratings here. A corner infielder, or first baseman and corner outfielder, I should say. So I thought he would be an interesting guy to bring in. He's a pretty young guy, 25. He was a pretty highly rated prospect who just didn't really get it going in Cleveland. Since 2019 wasn't very good. And then this year is actually pretty decent, so no harm in bringing him in. And that's pretty much all of the moves we had there for hitters. I believe we had some guys go down for a little bit. I can't exactly remember who, but it honestly doesn't really matter for the season, so I'll just get into it here. So Michael Perez and Jacob Stallings, both have been just okay-ish. I mean, it's not really worth the exertion that it would take or resources that it would take to upgrade a catcher, at least for now. These guys are under control for a good bit more. They're both pretty solid defensively. Not the absolute worst hitting catcher, as you can see here by the WAR so far, but replacement level, so I'm fine with that. It looks like right now Perez is getting more of the work here. 37 games started to Stallings only 17. So I'm fine with that. Let's just keep on checking out. Jake Bauers and Colin Moran here, of course, at first base. Bauers, very good so far this year, very good with us, as I just mentioned. And Colin Moran is also having a pretty good season. 288, 364, 497 slash run right there. OPS plus of 132. I mean, he's been very, very good for us so far this season. It's honestly probably going to try to fit some way to get Bauers in the outfield here, most likely. I don't really care about many of these guys here, as in pretty much everyone here except Brian Reynolds, who's not really performing well, which kind of sucks here. The only thing is Bauers really can only play left field, and Brian Reynolds can also really only play left field. And maybe I could play him in center, but that definitely is far from ideal. So Bauers, actually I could play Bauers in right. So maybe we'll go ahead and do that at some point, because I definitely would like to get a look at Moran here. He can definitely be some trade bait here if he's having a very good season. I try to sell high on him. Adam Frazier, probably the best player on our team here. Maybe besides Brian Hayes, not really hitting. Get OPS plus 80. Not very good. He does play pretty good defense at second base, though, so there is that. So, he's been fine so far, I guess. Probably won't trade him this year if he continues not to hit. I'll try to want to sell high on him, so don't think I'll trade him for now, which I also kind of want to talk about in this episode. So I'll be talking about my kind of deadline plans as we're getting through this video. Brian Hayes, he's been fine, of course. Didn't expect him to replicate that 2020 season, but he's been very good in he has not been as good 2021, but he's been fine. Almost a league average hitter, of course. He plays dynamite defense at third base, and it's really going to be his first full season here, so it's fine if he struggles a bit, especially out of the gate. So definitely fine with his performance so far. Eric Gonzalez, just backup infielder, not particularly good. I really hate his hitting ratings, and I don't really have anything to say about that. He's just probably below replacement level backup infielder there. Kevin Newman, another guy who I don't really care about. I thought his ratings were kind of intriguing. Very high avoid Ks, pretty high contact rating. I thought that may have been a good combo to pair with his kind of decent gap power, actually. But he hasn't really hit this year. I doubt he'll ever replicate what he did in 2019. But yeah, he's been pretty bad offensively. He plays an okay-ish shortstop, so that's it for him. Brian Goodwin hasn't been half bad, actually. Hitting about league average there. Decent amount of plate appearances so far. 100 plate appearances. Not the worst kind of hitter. I don't mind him. Strikes out a bit. Of course, that doesn't really matter. Pretty good power. Can pretty much handle corner outfield spots, maybe some center field, but again, not having a bad season. Brian Reynolds, not really hitting at all. Adam Frazier's not hitting, and Brian Reynolds is really, really not hitting. Only 65 OPS plus. He just has not been fantastic at all with the bat this year. He really struggled in 2020 after having an awesome 2019, but really kind of sucks to see that he is not performing very well. Hopefully he can pick it up as this season goes on. Here, Anthony Alford, another guy who he's of course a defense first center fielder, not very good with the bat, and he's really not being very good with the bat. 59 OPS plus. Dustin Fowler, I mean, he's barely even gotten a chance. Again, not very good. Has a decent-ish numbers only because he has a sky-high BABIP, and yeah, I mean, he's just not a player I'm very interested in. Gregory Polanco, again, not very good. Better than his 2020, that's for sure. But yeah, definitely not ideal. He hasn't been a decent hitter in a while, and we're definitely going to not be picking up his team option next year. And I doubt we'll really be able to get anything for him, but I'm definitely going to try. So yeah, that's it for hitters, and now getting into pitching here, sorting by FIP. And we actually do have a few moves that we did make here. First of all, the best guy that we definitely brought in here is Kion Kayla, who I just found on waivers, which was kind of surprising because he had been pretty good with San Diego so far this year. Of course, he was with the Pirates in 2020 and 2019. When he was younger, he was viewed as a much better reliever than he is now, even though he's pretty highly rated in this game still. And I thought, of course I'm going to claim him because he, would be a great addition to our team, and he's, he's only under contract for the rest of the year, but if he can perform well, we can definitely move him later in the year, so decided to bring him back. Richard Rodriguez was hurt for a while. He's been bad pretty much the whole time. Hopefully he can perform better for us. Michael Fleas, again, another guy, just bad. Pitching's been pretty bad. Jason Shreves, guy who's in our minor league system, who was doing, he's a pretty decently rated guy. We really don't have any lefties in the organization, so I thought, why not? He was rated at the worst. He hasn't really been good. I pitched 6 innings, though, so of course, you can't really take anything from that. Austin Davis, another lefty who we kind of brought up with a slew of pitching injuries. Former Philly, who really hasn't gotten that much of a shot. He's just there to be there because we literally don't really have any other lefties in the organization. So he's just there to kind of be there. Now kind of getting into the guys that we do care about a lot more. Mitch Keller, definitely would like to see something better from him than this. His walks are real high. That's like to see, but what's probably more concerning is only striking out 8.5 guys per 9 there. Definitely would expect him to be more of a strikeout guy with this very good 3-pitch mix and even an average changeup there that he has. Trevor Cahill's kind of been a bit of a surprise. He wasn't on a rotation to begin the season because of injuries. Well, actually, no, he has started every game first, but again, low ERA, of course. He's not a strikeout guy, so that FIP is going to be much higher. I'm actually walking a lot of guys for him. Kind of shocked that he's walking about 5 guys per 9. But he's been fine. Again, just literally to eat some innings for us there. Here's Stratton again, just an innings eater, whatever, reliever. Sean Poppin, another guy that we called up this year. At least I believe he didn't start the year in the Major League roster. He's been alright. FIP about 4, ground baller. His ratings are semi-interesting. Maybe he could stick around in our bullpen a bit. Who knows? Chad Kuhl, he was a guy who was injured for a while. He's been walking like everybody. 8 walks per 9 in 24 innings. Been used mostly as a reliever here, which usually in his career he's been mainly a starter. But he just came off of injury, like I said, and I don't really have any plans for him. Now, here's some guys that are definitely interesting. JT Brubacher, 27-year-old guy that's got a lot of team control. I don't necessarily like his ratings, but he has been performing pretty alright. His walks are alright. Again, not a big strikeout guy, more of a control ground ball guy. 3.4 FIP. I don't know how sustainable this would be. His BABIP is 308 here. Whip of about 1.3. He's allowing almost no home runs this year, which I don't even know cannot be said for any of these guys at all. Again, about no home runs allowed for this guy. Again, pretty good. And he has a lot of team control left, so he'll definitely be back. Same with Steven Brock, another guy with team control. Definitely don't mind his ratings here. He hasn't been starting the whole season, but he's been fantastic. Below 2 ERA here. About mid-3s FIP again. He's definitely been good. He's definitely going to be in the rotation again next year. That's for sure. Kion Kayla, as I mentioned, he's been pretty dynamite for us this year. Been pretty good. And then another guy who we cleaned off of waivers here was Javi Guerra here. Or I think that's how you say it. Not very good in San Diego, so another reliever that we got picked up from San Diego. They must have pretty much anybody in the minor league system there, that they're just hemorrhaging these decently rated relievers. So I'm not quite sure why they're doing that, but I mean he's fine. He's been very good for us, as you can see. 1.59 FIP. Definitely no complaints about that. So yeah, I mean that's our team. We've been bad as expected. Some concerning-ish starts to the season. Hopefully, guys like Todd Frazier, Reynolds can kind of get things going for us. Definitely would like to see them perform better. For guys that we're looking to trade, Colin, Moran is definitely one. Hopefully I can get him in some games here, which I'm definitely going to try to do. I'll definitely put Bauer in right field, probably just have Polanco come off the bench. Todd Frazier, I wanted to trade him this year because he only has 1 year of team control left. Hopefully he starts to hit really soon here, so we could deal him. And Gregory Polanco, I'll probably just shop him the next episode just to see if there's anything out there, but I mean I really doubt. I mean that's just basically just wanting someone to eat the salary for the rest of the season at that point. And again, Kion Kayla is probably a guy who we can try to move here. Other than that, pretty much everyone is pretty safely on this team for the rest of the season. Again, I'm going to keep making waiver claims, so actually a lot of the relievers will probably be in and out. Again, we're a pretty bad team, so we're going to be a lot of movement, a lot of waiver claims, a lot of trying to improve the team incrementally and kind of get better that way. So next episode we'll be back with the pretty action-packed episode. International amateurs start that episode. The draft is again that episode. The All-Star games that episode. And of course the trade deadline is that episode. Where of course we'll be trying to sell a few guys that I mentioned there. So thank you guys for watching. And I'm going to be planning to pretty much post the series as much as I can. I know I missed the other day. But I'm pretty much going to be trying to post a video every day, so look for a video every day, and just know if it's not there, it will pretty much guaranteed be there the next. So again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next episode.